Hey, my name is Ramirez, Frog Bear. You can call me Rami. This is going to be an episode of Matrix News, where we look at the simulation and just look at it. We just talk about that shit. Um, Focus. Sorry. Here we have. Just realized that this is kind of not proportional to how I want it. Either way. First article, it looks like a street lamp in a leafy London road, but this is actually a Chinese made facial recognition camera, one of millions of sinister looking CCTV cameras quietly installed across Britain in recent months. Very interesting, right? I don't know how people feel about so let me tell you about how newspapers work, right? Or newspapers, publications, anything that goes up into a magazine, for example. So like AOC's current cover of GQ, I think that's what it is. So in her recent cover of GQ, she had to do a photo shoot, right? But that photo shoot had probably happened last year, or probably happened 3 quarters ago. And the reason for that is because most of these companies tend to do things in advance, and they'll push it down the line and they'll plan ahead. So if anybody knows about Operation London Bridge, which is usually what happens when the Queen passes away, the disclosure of how that process goes about um, is to the discretion of how the royal palace wants to handle that. If they want to tell you immediately, that's up to them. If they want to withhold that information, that's up to them. But the way that I kind of look at media and the way I interpret it, usually tends to be a year in advance. So them installing all of this facial recognition software makes me wonder what is actually going on. Sorry. Um, I touched my eyes, and now my eyes are tearing up. I don't know why. This is Liz Truss. She's become the new prime minister. I think I've mentioned that in a prior video. Here we have Russia to legalize the use of cryptocurrencies in international trade. Very interesting how all of this is kind of, how the snowball is accumulating, because first it was Nigeria setting up an exchange market between precious metal and cryptocurrencies. Then it was Brazil. Now we have Russia. And Russia's kind of the biggest proponent to BRICS, which is a new, what do you want to call it? An agreement between new nations where they get to exchange goods to one another, not necessarily depending on the Bretton Woods agreement. Either way, here we have Prime Hazard. Amazon powered down its solar panels because it kept catching on fire. According to internal documents obtained by CNBC, which originally reported the news, Amazon experienced critical fire and arc flash events at 6 sites in North America, with solar installations representing about 12% of all applicable facilities. Interesting. Oh yeah, here we have right now it's not just Flint, Michigan. Now we have a completely other state.
And as you can see, the water is not really clear. It's a different color, darker color. It's crazy. I've never experienced anything like this in my hometown before. The boil water alert has been going on for the past month. And then to have to store water because you don't know how long we're going to go without water is...
I can't, it was that whole meme. I shared a meme on Instagram where it was just like Biden to Ukraine. Here's some money. Biden to Israel. Here's some more money. Biden to people in the United States. Don't drink tap water. But this goes into, I can't remember what video it was, but I did talk about water infrastructure and how FEMA essentially grabbed control over our water systems. But it wasn't necessarily that. It was over the fact that I can't remember what national bill it was or what it was, but it essentially described that all of our water systems, well, aspects of our infrastructure are controlled through computers and can be remotely controlled. But I can't remember any of this. But I just think it's very interesting how we're having more problems with our water. Turkey's inflation hits 80% in August. That's a 24-year all-time high. Oof. Erdogan's probably not happy. And if you've looked into his recent public statements, somebody's playing ball to make sure that, you know. Green agenda now demands the elimination of natural gas in homes nationwide. And you got enough carbon credits? Sorry, guy, you don't got enough carbon credits for you to turn on that stove. How are you going to boil your water? In Tibet, deep in the mountain, authorities are forcing people to line up in the cold rain to take their daily routine COVID test. I don't know what to say about this. I wasn't expecting to have a song. Just look at that line. Dude, China is getting pretty bad. Like I've already seen a few videos of people not taking their daily PCR test or complying and then being met with incredible physical force. By incredible, I don't mean that in a good way. DC Mayor Bauer demands black children to be vaccinated or denied an education. What? Like slave days, no reading and writing. Sorry, something got in my eye. I'm done. My eye. Either way, very interesting. BLM grassroots accuses BLM leader Shalomaya Bowers of stealing $10 million. Bowers accuses BLM grassroots of racism. Right? Once the finger gets pointed to you, and once you start getting pointed at, like, hey, how dare you do this? How dare you take all this money? How dare you buy all these homes? You know, it's like, what'd you expect? Like, you were going to get called out for this, but now you're going to blame the constituency, the people who supported this movement. I still remember, what was it, 2020? When they started putting the black square. Like, I remember a bunch of chicks being like, if you follow me, could I ask you to donate money to like BLM, da da da. I put the link in my description and this and that. And it goes back to what I always say of who did the logistics of this? Who do these people follow that they worship enough to go about doing this whole process in order for what? In order for them to fund democratic policies? Like, how does this happen? Right? That event essentially basically bought her homes, her cars, practically everything. Either way. I need to make sure. Hold on. I need to open up OBS to make sure that it's all lined up properly. Truth. Big government can't even manage their end of the legal weed industry. Think about that for a moment. So, Awakened Outlaw on Truth Social wrote out, big government can't even manage their end of the legal weed industry. And it's because they're right, it's state regulation versus federal regulation. And even then, I met a while ago, what was his name? He had this weed company and he was telling me about how the legalization of the weed industry basically cut out 80 to 90% of the profits. And because he owned a business of he owned a delivery service, and he said that the majority of his profits were in making gummy bears, but because the new regulations and the new laws essentially cut out all of his profits so much that he's only getting 10% of what he originally got. And I don't know, I just find it very interesting. They can't even manage their own industry. What's this? New View co-hosts, right? Yeah. Piss off, you phony who looks like the worship of altars of I have no idea. Oh yeah, it's basically talking about the new person on The View and how she wants to be the representation of Trump voices and this and that. This is all to corral. This is all. She's a new Ann Coulter, right? If nobody remembers Ann Coulter, with good reason, right? She was complete. She was a complete rhino who just suckled at the teat of Mitt Romney, and it's a part of the Machiavellian tactics of having a prince, having somebody who represents you in the overall sphere, so you can look towards them, listen to what they say, believe in what they say, all that other hooey, the hooey wooey. Ukraine's ambassador, oh yeah, and Ukraine's ambassador to Australia calls for removal of an offensive mural of Russian Ukraine soldiers. It's just them hugging. It's too offensive. How dare you? How dare you want peace? Like, don't you know Russia needs to be wiped off the face of the earth? Breaking: Irish data watchdog finds Instagram 405 million euros for privacy breach. If you look into it, it was their mishandling of certain underage accounts. Sounds like everybody is being used. What is this? I don't even think I'll watch this.
The one that has the BA4, and the FDA has approved the one that has the BA45 Omicron variant, whereas the UK and Europe have approved the BA1. So there are two different types of vaccines. Now, what they've shown in lab studies is that these bivalent vaccines help you to mount a slightly higher antibody response against Omicron. But whether that's going to translate into any kind of clinical efficacy, we don't know, because we don't really have those studies. And so time will tell whether we need this type of Omicron-specific vaccine.
Essentially, basically saying we don't have the data to know what's going to happen, so just don't worry, just take it. That's all she's saying. UK police prepare for breakdown in public order caused by cost of living crisis. I think the UK, if they actually lose their minds, it's over the fact that, I don't know what TV show it is. I'm assuming it's a morning show. But when they brought down that Wheel of Fortune looking thing, like the wheel you spin, and one of the prizes was paying your energy bills, I was just like, what? Like, what dystopian future did I walk into that energy is going to be that expensive? That that TV shows right now you get to go to a game show and pay off your debt that way. Like, what? I found it very weird. But police in the UK, after a huge spike next month, energy bills are set to soar around $6,000 pounds. £6,000 a year by next April, a level that threatens to push a third of the country into poverty. How dare you want to use electricity? Don't you know that only electricity is for the rich and the elite? Sorry, I just couldn't help myself. U.S. state California, the richest of the U.S. per GDP, declares energy grid emergency. Yeah, whatever. I think at most I've had 2 rolling blackouts, or just like randomly the whole thing went wow. But the energy came back like within 10 minutes. Then again, I don't know. Here we have, I don't even know why I share these. I should probably not share these because it makes me sad. Like, I actually watched this video. I don't like seeing anybody. It's like, granted, they made their decision, right? You made your bed, now you lie in it. But at the same time, like, what do we say about the fact that these people were coerced into it? It's not that they were coerced into it. It's more of the fact that they don't know any better. And realistically, the people even pushing this sort of material on them don't even know better themselves. Because this curriculum was pushed down to teachers. This curriculum was pushed down, and this agenda was pushed down towards teachers, students, and then it creates this ambiance and environment of acceptance where it's okay to do these sorts of things. And when you have people who are just desperate to fit in because they don't even know themselves and they're trying to like figure themselves out, just leads to people making very uninformed decisions. License for dealings involving international release of GMO into the environment. Oh yeah. AstraZeneca authorized to release therapy-related things into the environment according to their government. And this is the document. I linked the Telegram group in the description below, so if anybody wants any of this information, it'll be down below. Oh yeah, the Trinity school director, she completely deleted her Instagram right after her getting caught up. Same old Tories. Showing this picture real quick. The Daily Mirror. Liz Truss is the new prime minister. For 12 years, conservative PMs have wrecked the economy, trashed public services, left millions worse. And now we've got another one. Same old Tories. Conservatism is bad. We need more liberalism in the world. That's how we're going to have a free and open society where we can give hormone blockers and pharmaceutical companies billions of dollars. Sorry, I just can't really help myself right now. I'm like in tears. So I burned something for mosquitoes, and it's making me cry. But not right, making me cry. No, not in that way. Either way, Russian journalist Ivan Safronov sentenced to 22 years in prison. A reporter handled a record sentence for trumped up treason charges that shock supporters inside the court. Very interesting. I wonder what he discovered. The FBI raided Barron Trump's room before Hunter Biden's. Yeah, let that sink in, right? They raided Barron Trump's room before even addressing or even acknowledging the Hunter Biden story. Right? They'd raided in, but they're like, oh, who? Hunter? Who's that? Like, I don't even know who that is. Like, what? Tale of two borders. Mexican not seen at busy crossings. Families from Venezuela, Colombia, Haiti, Cuba, Brazil, India, and dozens of other countries have arrived in Yuma after wading through the knee-deep Colorado River. But not Mexicans. Not Mexicans at all. Why is that? And then you'll find out that there's still a lot of discrimination that Mexicans are doing towards all of these caravan people. Because it all started with beans. I'm not lying, it literally started with beans because Mexicans don't have much. But when they see somebody struggling and taking on a plight, we identify with that. And we'll help. But a lot of these people started complaining about that they were only getting fed beans, frijoles, and let's just say it didn't play out well. Now you have a lot of actual Mexicans just pissed off at these people that they're actively telling one another, don't go. It's not worth it. Like, you won't get accepted. All of these other people will get accepted before you do. And a lot of it has to do with ideology, your politics, and what you believe in. So, very messed up. Either way, here we have an earthquake. Very interesting. Strong earthquake shakes sound southwestern China. Dude, that is terrifying. I do not want to listen to these ladies scream. It's terrifying though. Just look at how violently the whole, very violent shakedown. Government agencies said at least 65 people have passed away, but communications in the landslide-prone area were disrupted, and the full extent of the damage was unclear. Despite the earthquake at a magnitude of 6.8, that happened less than 24 hours ago. Whatever. Very interesting. Very violent shake. Oh yeah, there's more videos. I forgot. I'm not sure what these other videos are. Doesn't look like the earthquake video. Either way. Moving on. Dr. Fauci is at the very origins of the biggest cover-up in modern medicine. My boy. Stop right there. I think the biggest cover-up in modern medicine is genetics. I'm doing some research, and what's going on right now pales in comparison to the shit I'm reading. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how to even like disseminate any of that information. Either way, moving on. Maybe I don't want to. Okay, this video, I don't know what to think. I don't want anybody to think very negative of me, but I found this and I thought it was crazy that this chick.
Here's how to manipulate women using their menstrual cycle. Here's how to manipulate women using their menstrual cycle. So this is a dumbed down.
Okay, I'm done. I'm not going to play any more of this video. But I found it absolutely insane that this chick decided to make a video on TikTok on how to teach dudes, or to teach anyone game on how to like just mess with people. Like, what? I call this manipulation of the will. I think this is the evilest form factor of karmic energy, or what? Like, you're just interacting with some very, very evil woo-woo that I'm not very comfortable with. And she's all like, yeah, this is how you would do it, and like, you do it during this time period, and this is this, right? This is the time to seduce your target. And I'm like, what the why are you teaching people this? This is not okay. Either way, let's look at some typhoon action. I should probably just... The storm! The storms are coming! Brace yourselves! Very terrible stuff, though. Typhoon Hinamor has hit South Korea with devastating winds. Hinamor had peak winds of 127 miles per hour and gusts up to 155 miles an hour. According to the United States Joint Typhoon Warning Center, the Korean Meteorological Administration said strong winds or heavy rains are expected. Yeah. Found this interesting picture. It looks like a crack in the sky. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that. It's a speech that Hillary Clinton has, and where she says that it's just really interesting verbiage about how she shattered the glass ceiling and how there's millions of cracks. And I was just very interested. But it's why I shared this picture. Beyond that, I really don't care. Erdogan blames Europe's energy crisis on Russian sanctions. And this is what I was saying, right? They hit Erdogan with all that inflation just so he would come out and be like, oh, we need to blame Russia for all the energy crisis. And by the way, I don't know if there's a really famous breakdown between, what's that lady's name who does the body language videos, where she does a breakdown of Putin meeting up with Erdogan. And let me tell you, pretty funny. Like, because you would never, like, at least me personally, I've never seen Putin look that submissive. I've never seen Putin look that weak in front of any other world leader. It just makes me think that this dude is probably some crazy ass guy. All right, Russia says that the UK ties unlikely to improve under Truss, the new Tory. Putin attends military exercise with Chinese forces. A Saudi woman recently jailed 45 years. She was jailed for 45 years for using Twitter to challenge the country's king and crown prince. What were you thinking? Like, really? Oh yeah, I couldn't actually put this. So I'm gonna avoid a bunch of these videos because I just feel like they take too much time when I make these videos. So, but this one I couldn't put in the video.
Human flesh, but it's vegan. This burger tastes like human flesh, but it's vegan.
It's okay, guys. It's vegan. It's vegan. I know it tastes like human, but it's vegan. I'm just gonna play the ending.
How did they know? But how did they know they got the right taste of human? This
Like, straight up, how do you even know what human tastes like to begin with? And I thought it was even funnier that it's a Swedish company. Moving on. Oh, here we have some pretty pictures of castles. Right? And all these castles were built with the horse and carriage. Horse and carriage, guys. They brought all those stones with the horse and carriage. Very beautiful stuff. Yeah, I don't know what people think about the Tartaria theory or the past civilization theory or any of that other stuff. One of the things that I just tend to, what I tend to believe is that the timelines are off. We're not necessarily being told the entire truth because, you know what I mean? Think of the logistics it would be and the time period, how long it would take in order for them to get all the stone, in order for them to get all the logistical work done of like where what goes and what does the design look like. Because one of my favorite ones was it's like a hotel in Canada, and they claim that this hotel in Canada was built in a year. But if you look at the thing, you can immediately like, oh yeah, you're gonna tell me you built that in a year on the side of a cliff? Yeah, dude. Yeah, bro. Totes. Either way. Moving on. Here we have, according to the warning from the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, it basically raining rainbow fentanyl. The colorful form of the drug has been found in at least 18 states. Who's bringing this in? Realistically, right? People always talk about how the NSA has the capabilities, the FBI. The drug war, in my opinion, has been a farce. It has been one of the most dumbest things ever to see it occur the way it has. And right, we have the logistical support. We can clearly tell who's doing what, but they don't want to catch the big fish, in my opinion, because they would much rather destroy its civilians. The National Defense Service Medal won't be awarded after December. So I'm joining the military, guys. I got to defend my country. I got to get me this medal before it disappears. I'm joking. Arsenic found in drinking water of NYC public housing complex. And I remember 2019, there was this whole thing in New York, the state. I don't know if it was near New York City, but I know that I heard a story in New York where there was this whole town who didn't have proper drinking water because none of the pipelines were up to date. Like, they were operating on such old infrastructure that the corrosion inside of these pipes became acidic. So acidic that it became detrimental to people's health. But again, let's give money to the rest of the world and none to our citizens. This video will be videos that will be in my compilations. Sorry that I had to skip all that. Oh yeah, exclusive. Brazilian feminist facing up to 25 years in prison after calling a trans politician a man. We have Bolsonaro in Brazil right now. This dude's considered the Trump of the tropics. And this feminist got up to 25 years in prison for mislabeling a politician. It's beautiful. I've never seen such poetry. No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. Shouldn't really joke about that. Oh yeah, that Caroline video. I was talking about MK Ultra programming and all that other stuff. I eventually found the video.
Fake and created by the sadistic handler to manipulate her. Let's look at the movie's protagonist. Coraline is voiced by Dakota Fanning, a child star that was about 15 years old when working on the project. And she also has appeared on other MK-themed movies, such as Hide and Seek.
Either way, great video. So join the Telegram group. Find the video there. No, I'm joking. This is from Odd TV. I guess he's a YouTube channel, so I'm pretty sure you can find it. Here we have part 3 to this New York debacle with these principals, or he's the assistant principal. Basically describing how if you don't answer the diversity, equity, inclusion question, you're an automatic not hire. So this ties into a video that I put in my first Matrix compilation where, what's your ESG score? Have you ever identified as a woman? Because that would really help out your ESG score. Oh, sorry, we can't give you a loan. Very terrifying stuff when you think about that. But here we have, what is this? Oh yeah, coals. This is the price of coal, right? With energy skyrocketing the way it is, Newcastle coal futures have essentially skyrocketed up. I don't know what that means in the futures market. I just know big bucks if you invested. The Gestapo snatching farmers outside of the Amsterdam train station. Logistical support, right? They probably snatched that person up because they knew that they were an integral portion. They were an integral part to this movement. But how did they know that? Right? How do they find political dissidents far faster than they find suppliers who are supplying local drug dealers? How does that work out? Like, come on, Sway. Tell me, Sway. Video that's going to be in the compilation videos. Here we have, they don't give a about your health. That's all. Oh yeah, in this video, you gotta love Eddie Bravo. He does his research.
They could have said people
Number one.
You'd be like, what are you doing?
We need everybody dead first before that shit comes out.
That's crazy.
But you know what's crazy is that Big Pharma has been immune from vaccine injury lawsuits since 1986.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Jamie? If you look up National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986,
and that's essentially the act that allowed for big pharmaceutical companies not to be sued, and any of the liabilities or any of the damages or any of the lawsuits would be paid out by the United States Health Department and not these private companies. So it comes out of your tax dollars and not their pockets. So either way. Oh, the thing that they highlighted here, though, I should say, they wanted to hide the evidence for 75 years. Imagine them saying that to you. And then they say, we don't want to show you the data for 75 years. Like, what are you doing? Eddie Bravo says, we need everybody dead first before that shit comes out. Because they don't want to, you know what I mean? The more lives, the more they have to cash out of their own pocket. Either way. Gazprom says it has signed a deal with China to pay for Russian gas in national currency. So now you can buy Russian gas from the Chinese. Very interesting. Oh. Just in case you don't think that the late night network talk shows are a branch of the establishment propaganda machine, here's Hillary Clinton backstage with Jimmy Fallon. Just listen to them.
My God! I'm so happy to see you! So good to see you!
Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. I'm in tears. Oh, you're so bad. Sorry. A scheduled operational test launch of an Air Force Global Strike Command unarmed. Yeah, they announced this. It was a ballistic missile planned for Wednesday, September 7th from North Vandenberg. Them doing testing on missile systems. Very interesting. Anytime we've seen testing, you see some very weird things go on. Oh yeah. Just to read this. The Vegas shooting happened exactly as the media said it did. It's kind of weird how the shooter carried 180 kilograms, 400 pounds worth of guns, ammo into the hotel, removed the window meant to survive tornadoes, and disabled the fire alarm, and no one noticed. That he supposedly fired hundreds of rounds, but the images released of the room only show a couple dozen castings on the ground. Or that his body somehow had a gun perfectly popped up over his foot, or none of his guns have bump stocks. Quite the conundrum that his brother, who adamantly said he'd never do this, had terabytes of child corn on a Windows 98 PC. His defense says he never owned, or that many of the witnesses who say there was multiple pooters have mysteriously turned up dead, or denying ever have said that to begin with, even when shown evidence that they said that. Very interesting. But, you know, it happened exactly as the media said. I'm a good boy. Here we have a Flight 175 engine. Now, This I got from like Ryan Dawson. I'm starting to notice a trend with seeing a lot of stuff coming out about 9/11 and it entering the lexicon once more. Something tells me we're about to see some very interesting things pop up off of 9/11, and just knowing the planes, what they say about DEWs and all this other, it goes into this whole idea of the devil's in the details. I think it's far more important to keep track of the actors, the people involved, tracking money where you can track money, tracking people where you can track people, tracking events, tracking facilitators that facilitated 9/11 to happen. I think that's far more important than being caught up on the building had explosives, the thermite, or direct energy weapons, or the planes were holograms, or the Pentagon wasn't hit with a plane at all. I think that's just nonsense. That doesn't matter. I think what matters is more the logistical side of things. Who, what, when, where, how, who facilitated this, where did the money come from? Those are far more important questions, because if you want answers to everything else, first let's answer this, because that's far more meaningful than debating like that the beams were coded in this or that. But either way, should turn this off. Here we have a young man, very normal for a healthy young athlete. His calves were swelled up to 4 inches larger in circumference. 6 feet of blood clots removed from high school football player legs days before the season starts. Ouch. Ex-Greenpeace founder Patrick Moore says climate change based on false narratives. Prominent scientist backs up claim that there is no climate emergency. I volunteered for Greenpeace at one point in time, and now that I think about it, because I have to remember what school I was going to at the time, and I had a scholarship there. It was a very prestigious school, and when I think about it now, they were just essentially brainwashing me to push and propagate all their propaganda, because I did. For a very long time, I did. Up until you realize aspects of the industry, aspects of what they're really saying, and when you look at the data that has been hidden, or I say hidden, in reality you just don't know about it. Can't even remember the study, but there's a lot of evidence that could refute this very easily. Either way, natural news. Grooming children for gender fluid drag while embracing Satanism is now Disney's main focus for producing. Yeah, right? Isn't that very interesting, right? We're watching Netflix, Disney, and all of these conglomeracies that make media or make entertainment shows all of a sudden embrace a very different aspect of life. Oh yeah, here we have Hillary Clinton on the Jimmy Fallon show.
They're getting the weapons they need to defend themselves, and they're now on offense. And I think we have to keep supporting them, helping them. They were attacked by an unprovoked act of war, and they've held out, and they've done better than anybody could have predicted. And Zelensky has been a true wartime leader. I'm so impressed with him.
Absolutely.
And I think, the United States.
I'm done. Yeah, guys. Yeah, Hillary. Yeah. Either way. What's this?
Hello, friends. Today we're going to be talking about.
Oh yeah. Again, these videos are going to be in the compilation videos. Takes too much time. Here we have a DVD anger. After Muslim grooming exposes, DVD is delivered to Don Caster's shop and pub. The disc, which bears handwritten messages, grooming exposed, it's a culture, Project Con. It's understood to have been sent to other homes and businesses in that area. I mean, because they've been fed up, especially with the news, especially with even government officials kind of essentially protecting all of this nefarious activity, that I think citizens have decided to take matters into their own hands. Oh yeah, UN agency launches war on conspiracy theories. Ooh, UNESCO. Essentially, UNESCO has a large hold over education systems all over the world, especially if you're in the UN. FBI secretly pressures Americans to voluntarily give up their gun rights. You know, wordplay. Yeah, this is a GIF. I actually was not going to share this. Hiroshima, Japan. Starlink seen overhead. Very nice. British pounds falls to lowest level against the US dollar since 1985. Yeah, I also heard that the euro is under $1. I think the dollar has more value than the euro right now. Very weird. Diversification dead. Holy moly. 6.25% mortgages is back as summer stock rally unwinds. I feel so sorry for two of my buddies that just bought houses. Harmful content. At least 3 countries demand Netflix remove certain TV shows that are promoting certain activity between certain genders. I'll just leave it at that. Obama says Joe is now America's good fortune to have you as president. I should just play the video.
Joe, it is now America's good fortune to have you as president. You've guided us.
Thank you, Joe. You've done a fantastic job in destroying this economy. Truly. No one could have ever imagined that you would do such a great job.
All did together to expand health care, to fight climate change, to advance social justice, and to promote economic fairness. Thanks to your decency and thanks to your strength, maybe most of all thanks to your faith in our democracy and the American people, the country's better off than when you took office, and we should.
You gotta love it though, right? They're all playing into each other. They're just like, yes, we did a good job. Pat myself on the back. New Mexico governor funnels $10 million into new abortion facilities near Texas border. Kind of weird, huh? It's like facilitating cross border state borders. Again, if nobody knows, if I have to repeat this, abortion is no longer a federal issue, so that means they're no longer applicable for federal grants. Now they're only a state issue, which means now the only money that they have available to them is state funds. Either way, moving on. Japan, China on edge after record dollar surge sparks explosive yen plunge. China's yuan not far behind. Essentially, a lot of other currencies are completely smashing through the floor. Going made by the mainstream media, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro is hated. Supposedly, right? The mainstream media says that Bolsonaro is hated, but meanwhile in Brazil, you can't even see the end. I got more videos of this. A cardiologist says that she's seeing a rise in 20-something-year-olds with heart arrhythmias caused by herbal supplements. Careful, guys. Those herbal supplements, they'll damage your heart. Tucker Carlson warns elites are making things worse on purpose. Back to the dark ages. I just wanted to share it because of this face. Retail traders throw in the towel. Right. Currently, right now, it is not a time for anybody to be investing into the stock market with how everything is playing out. Leaked recording of private meetings reveal Israel withheld data on certain injuries related to what it says on this box. Biden got approval for $675 million more for military aid for Ukraine. Telling he's going to look out for his people for sure. This link for the video was deleted. This is the CEO of Bayer basically stating that 95% of the people wouldn't have taken this new therapy 2 years ago. People were tricked and intentionally lied to. The quote says, "I always like to say, if we had surveyed 2 years ago in public, would you be willing to take this experimental therapy into your body, we would have probably had a 95% refusal rate. Oh yeah, I don't know why I blinked that twice. Should probably delete this. Ethereum is most likely base layer for global CBDCs. Ethereum technology will be the baseline for interoperability. How these interoperable standards come about already exist. It's called ISO 20022. It's just the standard of a messaging system. It's like, can I communicate with you? All right, can I communicate with you? It's just the standard of communication between a variety of different platforms. The standard already exists. Now, will Ethereum be able to sustain all that? Who knows? But then you're seeing, you get into layered solutions, layer 1, layer 2, all this other stuff. But Ethereum isn't the only layer 1. There are other platforms that have developed on the Ethereum code, but it's not necessarily Ethereum. So I'm not a financial advisor. Well, I know about cryptocurrency as the technology. I don't know it from the perspective of finance. I'm more looking forward to using the technology than profiting from it. So there's that. Here we have Bolsonaro speaking with police officers responsible for the security of citizens who came peacefully to celebrate Independence Day and foundation of Brazilian, whatever. More videos that you will see in my thing. Cops raid home of top Vegas lawyer and Democratic public official in connection with the murder of a journalist who thwarted. Basically, the journalist was the reason why he didn't get his position in office again. And then you get this really weird video where, hold on, where is it? Okay, I want to show this one too, actually. Exclusive. Mexican border state attorney general's security HQ firebombed. Quite literally exploded. Bam. It's like, what? No, guys, it's completely normal for houses like that to blow up. It has nothing to do with what's going on. It has nothing to do with George Soros. It has nothing to do with what's going on in the world. Is this sword? Oh, yeah. Is this sword video why a Vegas reporter was assassinated? Journalist published footage of a Democrat official having an affair, leaving the backseat of his car with a woman. You know how that play game goes. Soros-backed AG Leticia says, there cannot be one set of rules for everyday Americans and another set of rules for the wealthy and the powerful. That's literally what we have right now. That's literally what we saw. Either way. The top count on Bannon is a Class C nonviolent, which holds incarceration from 5 to 15 years. Justin Bieber cancels remaining tour dates to make his health the #1 priority right now. Bieber was diagnosed with Ramsay Hunt syndrome in June and had recently picked up his tour back up after postponing several dates. He shouldn't have gotten let's not say that word because, people are in dispute about that, but right after he took it, he literally posted videos of his face just completely contorting. And right, because I tend to be on the side of, if there's a database that keeps track of you as a person, what makes you think that I think Bieber's a target, mainly because I don't know if anybody knows this, but Justin Bieber made a video called Yummy, and up to the release of that music video and up to the release of that song, he was making a lot of allusions towards Pizzagate, towards a very different side of humanity. And because he also feels like he was abused in that regard. So it was his way of kind of like trying to blow the whistle without essentially getting him killed. But right, I think he was targeted for this. Switzerland considers jailing anybody. You're going to jail if you touch the thermostat. It's new levels. Las Vegas Metro Police confirmed that they are exerting a search warrant on the home of. I got videos for that. There's more footage of like just how large the crowd was when they went to go visit Bolsonaro. Brazilian national pride, very high. You had the flight team. Jewish group to sue New York for banning guns in the house of worship. Yeah, here it is. Looking like Walter White, my guy. Where are you coming from? What I thought was very crazy was the fact that this lady just walks up to him. What can you tell us? You got any?
Did you do this? Tell us anything?
Why did police tow away your vehicle?
What the hell? Like, why would you just walk up to this guy after what he just got suspected over? Like, how does that make sense? Either way, Charles succeeds as king immediately. He made a public statement. Don't care to write. Oh, this was intense, dude. This lady essentially calls out this cat. It's like, come here, kitty. Come on. Just so she could give him a ticket. Like, this is new levels. My favorite part? She takes the cat with her. Let's just be realistic. This lady wanted the cat for herself. The other cat's like, they just took her. What do I do? Oh, yeah. I want to show this video just because of like the weird nature of it.
And it's a key. We call it a key to the White House, and it's a key to our country and to our hearts. And you've been an amazing leader for a long period of time, and this is...
It's a key to this nation. It's a key to our heart. Very weird verbiage.
This is, in many respects, the big day, because this is something that's very special. And
thank you, Mr. President. And I have said, and this is true, that you have the key to the hearts of the people of Israel because of all the great things you've done.
Key to the heart of the Israeli people, only because of like the few things that he did, right? And I think the only reason why I say this is because when he moved the embassy to Jerusalem, what Trump is doing there is playing biblical prophecy. He's playing into this religious zeitgeist view of the world.
The Jewish state and the Jewish people, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. Well, I think Israel's not isolated anymore because I can tell you we have the two countries, plus you had an additional two, as you know, from many, many years ago. And now you have a situation where many of the countries, and I can actually say most of the countries, but many of the countries in the Middle East want to sign this deal. And I think when that happens, hopefully after the election, because I really believe Iran wants to make a deal. They've had a very tough time.
None of that ever happened.
Their GDP is down 27% because of the sanctions and all of the other things. And I don't want that to happen. I want Iran to be a great country, a great nation. I think that would be a wonderful thing. But I think, and I've even said that, I've said that to representatives of China or probably Russia.
What does he say?
Because if Sleepy Joe won, they would own the United States president. Because if Joe Biden become the president. Because if Sleepy Joe won, they would own the United States, all of them.
Thank you. Mr. President, I heard a question from one of the...
Changes the subject. But,
would like better than to of them. I want Iran to be a great thing, but I think, and I've even said that, I've said that to representatives of them.
Yeah, I don't even know where it was.
Strong free economy, because we have a strong military, because we have a strong relationship with the President of the United States and the American people.
Talking about how we have a strong presence, but he doesn't say Trump. He says we have a strong relationship with the American president.
And
it's a very, like, this whole interview is a very weird, veiled speech of like jabs between all this thing going on between each other. Because I don't know if I want to get into that. Just me personally, I don't believe in the Israeli state. I believe that it's an entirely political and religious issue. It is entirely set up to propagate certain narratives, certain agendas, and it's to play into the religious holy land and all this other dumb shit. Either way. Now, if we have a date calculator, right? Somebody said, are you kidding me? Today's date minus 1776 days, right? Because today the queen died. It would be October 28th, 2017. And somebody said, who started posting on that day? Just, coincidences. Biden orders U.S. flags half-staff, right? Because Queen Elizabeth. A rainbow appeared at Windsor Castle as the world mourns the longest-serving monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. And we have over 1 million Brazilians showing up. Just 3 videos showing how many people were there. More videos. I was just so crazy, right? Eventually, this is like a closed, gated community. They had to actually help reporters leave the area. I'm not too sure what's going on. But like, you straight up have SWAT cars being driven in to this little gated community to retrieve this this guy. Very weird. Not sure what's going on. Anyway, massive police response amid reports of active shooting in an IRS building in Memphis. Oh, yeah. And to end it off, especially with what happened to the Amish farmers, they're not the only case. This has happened plenty of times where you've seen the FDA in joint venture with other agencies to take down farmers.
They all control, and they all came and pretended they were just going to do an inspection, and then they did a seizure.
It was a SWAT-type team raid, which included the FBI, the FDA, the CDFA, along with half a dozen sheriffs.
We were just recently raided again for the 3rd time. Knock on the door, and my kids again ousted from their beds.
They terrorized the children, took the farmer away in handcuffs.
Even
over milk. Could you fucking believe it? Over milk. They really don't want you eating normal food. Like, what are they so afraid of that people are going to eat non-GMO food? Just because it says organic when you buy it at the store doesn't mean it's organic. The seeds were all from Monsanto. Monsanto has the softest form of monopoly in this country. It's insane. But I find no rhyme or reason or sense for things to be this way. And hopefully people get educated on the whole health issue and all this other stuff, but it gets me angry to just see law enforcement, agencies of government be used this way in order to propagate or to like hold up the hold that not only that the FDA has, but Monsanto, all of these conglomeracies, right? Like, if they're allowed to do it, it's okay. Because if you look into the actual research of natural food versus GMO food, it's startling. It's actually quite scary to quantify how much they're willing to go to, or the lengths that they're willing to go to in order to shut down operations of homesteading or healthy living. I just find it absolutely insane. Well, this was an episode of Matrix News. I might make another one, hopefully that's shorter, on Sunday. And I'll actually go over, if not, probably like specific articles that I wish to touch on. But my name is Ramirez. This was Matrix News. And hopefully you guys have a great weekend.